Welcome, everybody. My name is Patricia, and I'm the host of the Conscious Living Show. And we have wonderful conversations with people who are making a difference to expanding consciousness in all areas of life, in health and spirituality and in the environment. And today I've got a really special guest with me, and her name is Mirjam. Hi, Mirjam. Welcome to the Conscious Living Show.
Hello.
So Mirjam is the author of a brand new book, which has just been released last Friday on the 11th of the 11th, 2021. And the book is called Silent Smile. And it's a really amazing transmission of information that's coming from source that is so relevant for the times we're going through right now. And I've read a few chapters of the book, and every time I delve into it, it seems like I get a message that's really relevant for now. It brings me into the presence. So I'd love to talk with you a little bit about, firstly, your background, because you grew up in Switzerland, Germany, is that right?
Yeah.
And also you lived in France, and you came to Australia 2002?
Mm-hmm.
And you've been practicing as an artist and a therapist, a counsellor for many, many years. And I know you've been on a very long and sometimes painful journey in your life, which has led you to, I guess, be really experienced and really have a lot of authority in terms of helping people with how to really live in this world as an enlightened, as an awakened being.
Oh, well, how should I start? I think on our journey through life, we all face, regardless whether we are on a spiritual journey or if we are not aware that we are on a journey, we all face our conditioning and the pain that comes with it. And so I'm no exception in that, yeah. Everyone has to go through this. And first, when I was young, I mean, you remember this time, psychology, nobody had an understanding of psychology, yeah? We had just pain and we suffered and we wanted it to go away. And then step by step, we learned through books, through spiritual teachers, through education, through psychologists, we learned how to deal with it, yeah? And then we ask ourselves, why is this pain coming again and again back to me, yeah? And then later we discovered, oh yeah, this is like an onion, many, many layers you have to peel back until something is really resolved at the core, yeah? So, and I supported people, oh God, 27 years in doing groups and meditation and inner healing journeys in groups and in single sessions. And yeah, it helps.
But you also had this very sensitive nature. You were able to really tune in and feel and experience a lot of what was happening with people. Is that right? You are quite an empathic person, and you were receiving messages and information, weren't you? You were getting, some people say, downloads of knowledge that was coming through over the years. Is that right?
Oh, as a child, I was born clairvoyant, and I could read the thoughts of all people, which I found terribly confusing because all the adults surrounding me were saying something entirely different to what they were feeling and thinking. So I found that absolutely confusing, and I could see always Christ around me since I'm a child. He's my main teacher, and other beings, and I was, the spiritual world was my safe haven, I would say, because this was the world I was familiar with, I could count on. And because I had very strong, painful experiences, like most of us in their childhood, I couldn't count on my emotions. So what I really did was I had a great intellect. So I lived mainly in the mental body and the spiritual body. And my emotional body was unsafe. And also my physical body, I didn't really consider myself very much at home there. And a lot of people do this, that we don't inhabit all four of our bodies. We live mainly in two bodies. Some people mainly the physical and the mental, others, we don't have connection to all the bodies. And the journey is that we inhabit all the bodies one day and clear them and heal them, because only then, these were the people that are long time on the spiritual path, only then, when all these four bodies are cleared and healed, this can become a vessel for our true nature or higher self, or whatever you want to call it,
So shall we talk a little bit about the book? Because the message is really love, isn't it? It's really about connecting to our own inner state of being and being able to embody that and live that way in this life, which is very challenging at the moment. But it's not a lot of books that have been transmitted can be quite, that have been channeled, for example, can be, sometimes they're spoken in a language which is very archaic and very waffly, but that's not the case with Silent Smile. It's very clear and it's very direct and clear and simple to understand. And I don't think it doesn't gloss over anything either. It really gets down to the nitty gritty, like you say, that we can't just gloss over aspects of ourselves that are not healed and issues that we haven't dealt with. So perhaps you could just talk a little bit about that, and then we'd love to hear some of the words that are in the first chapter, the introduction, which is so beautiful.
Well, I think this is exactly the intention of these indescribable pure beings that dictated this book to me. That because this book the intention is that it goes out to all of humanity. So it has to be simple and clearly understood. And it has to have truth in it. Because as you said, when we gloss over something, that cannot really be of benefit. Yeah. And at the same time, it has, even so, it names everything, it has no judgment at all. It's actually the opposite. Even so, it is so discerning and so clear and points out where we as human beings are not clear. It does it in such love. And there's also, when I received the transmission, there was great peace there. And I know from the people that have read the book before it was released, they all tell me the same. There is great peace there. Because I am really not the author of this book. I made myself available and trained for 11 years to be ready to receive this book, because it was announced to me in meditation 1998, I was in an airplane. I flew from where did I go? From Los Angeles to New York. And I like to meditate on flights. I don't like so much flying. So I did, and this book was shown to me. And I was like, oh my God. And it was so powerful because they said, no, would you like? They said, you will write this book in our name. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow. And then I come, I lived at this time in Germany, and I come home, and I was like, okay, and I put paper on the desk. I didn't even know how to use a computer, and have a pencil and say, okay, write to me. 1998, yeah, nothing happened. And then I said, oh, okay, maybe I have to get more creative and start to write, and then nothing. So it took from there on until 2009, on the 11th of November, until it began. And then it began like a waterfall. I couldn't stop it, yeah. My hand was hurting, and I was really, it's very exhausting. You are so concentrated and you don't want to make a mistake. So I was sweating blood, to make no mistake and make it right. And yeah, so the intention of these beings that are direct embodiments of Source, and all our major teachers of the major religions and more, they dictated this book to humanity, yeah? And I was only the scribe. Yeah. So when you ask me, what is the main message? Well, it's really not so easy to put in words. You can say it in one simple sentence: to be love, yeah? But because love is a word we use a lot as humans and don't really understand it, and it implies so much more, yeah? So to understand that the one who created us is love, and so logically we, as its creation, we have to be loved too. And that what we call enlightenment can maybe also in simple terms translated to return to this pure state of love, peace, and truth, which we all are. And this book here, voila, is a guidebook, a map, or like Chiara, a friend of mine, Chiara Windrider, he described it as a master manual, which is really simple, but it is so profound and give us the lesson to understand. Because I believe, since I am 13, I am meditating, daily. And I've seen so many things in the spiritual scene, and I think it's very fragmented what you see today as teachings in the particular New Age scene. But I also know traditional religious teachings everywhere in the world, and also there I believe there's incompletion there, because we need to understand, when we don't heal ourselves, we cannot become healthy vessels. Meditation alone and spiritual practice alone will not help us. And on the other hand, only to going to a psychologist will also not help us to find inner peace and happiness. Yeah. And the other aspect of the book, I would say, is that when we look at this earth at the moment, and everyone speaks about climate change and environmental disaster and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this is not really new. We know it since 40 years. Scientists are warning, but these warnings have fallen on deaf ears. Yeah, the ones in power are not interested. They thought, okay, as long as we can make money and get the most out of it and get away with it, we do it. Yeah?
Mm.
Now it has to come to the point where it has become obvious, because we feel the first effects on climate change, the first wave. It will get much worse, as we all can imagine. So what this book also shows us, that the outer world and all the problems in this outer world are a direct reflection of the problems within. Yeah, this inner pollution, this inner pain and unhealedness has distorted our perception of what life is, who we are, how we treat Mother Earth, and so on. And that is all related. And it says there very clearly, it says, pardon me, he says very clearly, we cannot heal the world before we not heal ourselves. Unhealed people cannot heal the world. I agree with this. This is rightly so. Yeah, because let's say when we are not, I don't like the word enlightenment so much. I like better to say when we not our natural self or liberated. Yeah, we are like 10% of who we really are, and even that is very fragmented and limited. So this book also talks about that enlightenment is not a privilege for the spiritual elite. It's the birthright of all human beings. And we are all called on this journey. And I also think this is true and is right, yeah?
So I'm intrigued, why did you choose the name, the title, Silent Smile?
Oh, this was written
Was that transmitted as well?
And when I saw the vision, the book looked exactly like this. It was this book, and Silent Smile was written on it, and it was inspired. And when I painted this cover, because I'm an artist, and I painted the cover, I was thinking, I don't know how to do this. And it just happened that it came exactly like I saw it. But I was very nervous because I thought, I don't know if I can do this. This was so incredible what I saw. And our publisher, look how beautifully made, so shiny, the gold. Yes. This is how I saw it, you know? So I'm very happy with the job he did. It's very wonderful.
And that is the first edition, isn't it? That's the hardcover. And you've got some beautiful art. Your portraits in there as well. Do you want
I can show a little bit. This is one of my paintings I did. This is also in. Can you see that? Is it clear?
Beautiful.
Okay. And there is there's a few other paintings in, and they all depict, which is really interesting. I didn't know that when I painted them, that I depicted in 1.5 years these 3 aspects the divine talks about: peace, love, truth. And I can't believe it that I painted exactly that before the book. And here's this other one. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Oops. That is peace. It's peace. Oh God, I can't see if you can see?
Yes, yeah, that's beautiful.
And the first one, this one is truth. She looks at you and you cannot escape this glance. And here we have the mother of compassion that's within the book. And that is the love aspect.
Yeah.
Can you see?
That's so beautiful.
So, and so all what happened in this book is really, I mean, I didn't plan that. To be honest, I forgot about the book. It laid in the garage and I didn't think. So maybe the children can bring it out, because I didn't feel it's really my book. So I cannot decide what to do. And as long as I don't have the impulse to publish it, my husband always said, publish it, it's so amazing. And I said, no, I cannot act without the impulse from the divine. I cannot. And then when the beings came last August in 2020, in the night to me, they dictated the book, and they said, now is the time to bring it out. I did, and now it's here. I was able to do because it felt right, and it was their wish. You know, it's their book, not my book, you know.
So Mirjam, you were talking about how, you know, the earth is going through tremendous transformation, as we know, climate change and all the rest of it. And but we're not taking it seriously, and our governments are just ignoring, well, they've ignored for a long time, the signs. So what does Silent Smile have to offer in, you know, to, like you were talking about it as a guide to awakening and healing and living in this world in a, you know, with truth and with peace and with love. So do you want to introduce the book a little bit by sharing some of the words, some of the transmission that's come through?
Oh yeah, certainly. But I want, just before I begin reading this first chapter that was dictated to me on 11th of November 2009, I would like just to complete this, because what Silent Smile really offers is that we recognize we are the reason for all the imbalances we see in our outer world. This is a direct reflection of the imbalances within us. Because when we would be full of love, and when we would be peace, and when we would speak and act according to the truth, we would not exploit Mother Earth, nor would we go on war with other nations, nor would we project on other people all our shadow and hate them and make enemies, so, you know, and so on. And we would treat the animals right. There would be no first world and third world. We would be just one brotherhood and sisterhood of men. Yeah. And I think it offers us to become that. It offers us to align with our divine nature, which is our natural self, our true self. And it offers us at the same time to really learn to love ourselves, because someone who is not loving himself, herself, he cannot become a vessel for the higher self. The higher self wants to descend down in a body like this. It repels it, it won't go out again. It can only be when you are total love, then it come down and want to inhabit you. You understand? Because every time we are not in love with ourselves and with other beings, where we not at peace, or we not speak the truth or act accordingly, we disconnect from our true nature. Yeah. And that states it very clearly. So I don't want to say too much, because the book explains it much better than me. And I read now the first chapter I received on the 11th of November 2009. And yeah, okay. It's called Introduction. Can you hear it good?
Yes, that's good.
Okay. Also, Introduction. All problems that humanity is currently experiencing on an individual as well as a global level stem from man's disconnection from source. What you generally perceive to be a normal life is in fact nothing but the consequence of your ignorance of the true purpose of life. This ignorance led to the abuse and dysfunction of your physical, emotional, and mental bodies, and created the belief in the illusion of separation from source, which is impossible. Life as humanity is presently living it is far from reaching its true potential. We, a group consciousness embodying Source, the heart of God, would like to introduce ourselves and remind you of what you have forgotten prior to coming into your bodies on the physical plane. As non-physical beings, we might appear a little unusual to you, yet our existence is nevertheless as real as yours, even if most of you only perceive that which has physical form and can be scientifically verified as being real. We do not need to prove ourselves to you, nor do we want to convince the ones who doubt. What we would like to do is to share insights with you from our viewpoint of absolute freedom, peace, and love. We wish to remind you of your true potential, that you are also able to experience union with the divine, which will bring peace, love, and freedom to your life. So, who are we? What do we mean by we as distinct from I? On earth, you perceive yourselves as single identities, separate from one another. This seems to be the normal view of life on your planet. We, from other dimensions, higher levels and expressions of consciousness, do not share this perception with you, for it is illusionary and does not hold truth. Separation into single consciousness identities does not exist where we come from and where you all originated. We only perceive oneness, love, and truth without losing clarity and discernment. We are without judgment and instead prefer to evaluate situations and beings according to their degree of alignment with Source. This scale varies from the full expression of truth, love, and peace to the denial of the existence of the divine, which then translates into the various levels of entanglement in the world of illusion. So again, who are we? We are Source, the reason for all being. Without us, creation would not exist. We are the heartbeat of creation. We are the creator. We are the heart of God. Our consciousness has taken on different embodiments under various names throughout your history, while our appearances and the way we thought adapted to the changes during the evolution of the human race, our consciousness always remained the same. The I am that I am. The Nameless One is one of our preferred names, for it is neither abused nor overshadowed with human meanings that only try to restrict and limit that which cannot be restricted and is unlimited. You will never be able to capture the living fire of God in a name or a religion. This holy mystery can only be experienced through divine grace with an open, humble, and courageous heart. We invite humanity to listen to what we have to say, and if it makes sense to you, to rethink the way you perceive life, yourself, and others. We would like to take you on a journey of expanded consciousness far beyond your wildest dreams. Yet it will be so simple that you will sometimes wonder why you did not come to the same conclusion. Humanity is on the verge of understanding that its childhood is ending, and we are here to support you in taking the first steps in your new life of adolescence. We encourage you to take responsibility for yourself and this world that you have inherited. In order for that to happen, the old paradigm will fall. They have to, for they were built on fear. In this new world, birthing itself through all of you, there will no longer be time or space for anything built on fear. The low frequency of fear cannot sustain itself in the new light of truth, peace, and love, now flooding this beautiful planet. We ask you to choose love over fear in every moment. If you were able to do so, you would experience that which you call enlightenment or self-realization. Most of you are not yet capable of making this fundamental shift, and this is why we are speaking to humanity, to gift you with a spiritual guidance system that is as simple as it is profound. Yet, we do not promise you a walk in the rose garden. Anyone promising freedom, peace, and enlightenment in this manner does not speak the truth. There is no instant enlightenment. Rather, it is a long and delicate process to exchange fear for love. And as with every process, it takes time, especially in the third dimension. It will require your whole being to make this shift, and at times it will seem hard, but it is the only path offering you true freedom and inner peace, independent of all outer circumstances. You will learn to see through the eyes of love and recognize the oneness of all beings. Countless books have been written on spiritual matters, and we are aware that this specific segment of the book market is extremely popular. What we see first and foremost in this phenomenon is that humanity is ready to ask questions and search for answers. This is the reason why we have waited for this particular time when an adequate percentage of human consciousness has reached a higher vibration and is willing to receive our support. We will offer you clarity in the jungle of spiritual teachings, truths and half-truths. Remember one thing, the truth is simple. Also, truth may appear complex. It is always recognizable through its simplicity. This may guide you in your search, as will the following insight. Listen to your heart and be aware of how it feels when you reflect on a teaching. Do you feel warm and more alive, with your heart expanding even when presented with an inconvenient truth. Alternatively, do you feel uneasy or judged? On another occasion, we will examine further the interesting subject of discernment. For now, we only wish to introduce ourselves and make our voice audible to the world. We are very excited to come out from the invisible to speak to you and offer our service. A substantial part of humanity is ready for the embrace of truth. We are delighted to have the opportunity to plant the seeds of love in your consciousness so that they may bear fruit 1,000-fold, serving you in building the new world, no longer based on the old paradigm of fear and all her anxious children. The new earth is a place of love, truth, and peace, and it is already emerging. We see this world already born and grown. It exists, we can assure you. We who live beyond time and space have watched the birth of our child, the new earth. For you, this event may still appear in the imminent emerging future. It is only a matter of viewpoint and perspective, isn't it? Imagine, feel, and dream the new world into existence by choosing love over fear. Believe in your dreams of a better world and act accordingly. Only then can this world, already existing on a higher plane, manifest in your physical reality. We want you to understand that you are birthing the new earth into existence. Each one of you is called as co-creator in making this new world of peace and love possible. For this to happen, become the conscious creator of your own life. Learn about the original intended use of the mind and gain an understanding of the deeper meaning of your emotions, along with the ability to heal your pain. Comprehend the importance of detachment and reconsider your beliefs about who you are, what life means, and why you are here. We will lovingly assist you to leave the old world, the old you behind. For neither the old world based on fear nor your conditioned you can be taken into the new world. Become love, peace, and truth. Transform yourself. Develop these virtues and once again discover that which you have always been since the beginning. Truth, peace, love, and light. You have never lost this light. It still lives within all of you. Few can remember or even believe that beneath the thick layers of pain, fear, and conditioning that cause you to live in a limited world, the light of source is still shining. Even if its flame is tiny, it is still there, simply waiting to be reinvoked, to shine like a lighthouse and radiate love. Dear ones, your light is no different from the light of a master like Jesus or Buddha. The only difference is that they made space for this light under all circumstances. They served truth and love, and so became an example for all of you to see the possibility of freedom and full awakening. Unfortunately, the religions established later use their lives to justify man-made laws and portray their spiritual achievements as being unattainable for the average person. This gave the impression that none of you could ever reach their heights. Jesus, Buddha, Isis, Mohammed, Krishna, and Moses, as with all masters known, unknown, and long forgotten, came to the human race as your loving older brothers and sisters to show you your own potential. None of them wanted to be worshipped, nor would they have agreed to become the founders of world religions with all the rules, rights, and laws built around their original teachings of truth. Sadly, at the same time, the core essence of these sacred teachings was lost. The establishment of religion has in actual fact totally missed the point. The enlightened masters gave you the keys to true freedom, and religions turned these keys of freedom into prison walls. We do not judge this unfortunate unfolding of events, for a better outcome could not have been expected based on the level of consciousness of humanity and its leaders at that time. The dark ages have now passed, and we wish to support you along with other servants of the light of the One to rediscover the true teachings of the masters, which have existed since eternity. As humanity awakens, it will understand that enlightenment is not a luxury for the spiritual elite. It is your human birthright and the sole purpose of your existence. Everyone is called on this sacred journey. All of you who have deep desire, commitment, courage, and love for truth are able to achieve freedom from ignorance, along with inner peace and oneness with the divine. Welcome to this most exciting journey, your journey home.
Wow.
That is what I thought when I wrote this down with my hand, hurting
Yes.
so much. And I thought, oh my God, it has begun. This word was promised to me. I knew I had not ever written one single word of this. I was just, oh my God, you know. Yeah.
I think it's amazing, because listening to you read that, I was feeling the vibrations of the energy behind the words.
Oh yes, yes.
That was awakening that awareness within me. And you know, in this world where, you know, there's so much busyness and distractions, it's such a clear, it's like a bell ringing, you know, the vibration
Yes.
is resonating. And so when you come into alignment with that in your own natural inner core and self, it's so easy and simple. It's not like you have to do anything except just come home.
I tell you, sorry for interrupting, but
yeah,
when I should make a description of the spiritual path, because when I was young, I studied since I'm 13 meditation and Buddhism and all spiritual teachings, the Sufis, Advaita, everything, because I thought this is the only thing I'm really interested in. But I had so many ideas, like everyone else, what that would be, this journey home, this enlightenment, and la la la. And I will say today, because the further they go, the more simple it all becomes. And I say, drop everything that is not love, that is not peace, and that is not truth. That is the only path. There's nothing else to do. It's more letting go what has covered this, because it's not, we need to become enlightened. Underneath all this identification with a personal and a spiritual ego, there is this what we're searching for. And we couldn't live without it, but it's so covered up. So it's drop everything that is not love, is not peace, is not truth. That's it. And it's not easy, but it's possible. Yeah, it's really possible. And it's very simple when you every day just think about that. When you think, okay, am I acting in love, speaking in love, treating other people in love, treating myself in love? Yeah. And is this coming from peace, or is this coming from not peace, my action? And then return to the peace first and then act. Yeah. Yes. Or do I act according to my truth, or do I make compromise that fails and not true? Yeah. It's so simple. It's not so complicated meditation technique, complicated here and there. Yeah. And later there will come, these are the basic teachings, and there are advanced teachings. But I tell you something, nobody has to write them down. Firstly, they are written anyway in the sacred books. When you read the Vedas and the advanced teachings of the Sufis, but you can actually only bring them in poetry form, because the truth cannot be said. It's impossible. Yeah. And every soul who has prepared the vessel to be compatible with our higher self, that means you have to become peace, love, and truth, then anyway gets the direct teachings. They come directly from the avatars, you know. Nobody has to read that in a book. You get taught directly. Every breath you take, they with you and they teach you, because that cannot be said, you know. So I think if you learn what is in this book and practice it, you're very well prepared on your journey, you know. It's simple. It's not impossible. That's what I want to say. It's hard work, yes, and often we want to run away, yeah, but it's possible. It's not impossible.
Yeah. And I love the fact that they talk about the new earth, you know, that we are bringing this new earth way of being into reality, onto this earth. And you'll be launching the book at the Conscious Living New Earth Festival, which is happening this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the 20th and 21st. I think it's so appropriate that it's been birthed and released at this time, because there's so much fear rising in people for the events that have been taking place, and the future people are uncertain about. And yet this light of the consciousness that is behind these words, that is vibrating, is so simple and clear that it's going to be, I think, such a fantastic help and tool for people to, like you suggest, like you say, it's a guidebook, you know, it's a support going through the times that we are going through, and they are going to get more difficult. There's no question about that, because one of the chapters I loved was talking about the comparison of dismantling, you know, when you do a house renovation, you have to smash down the walls. Sometimes you have to take the roof off. Yeah. So everything looks like there's destruction happening.
Yes.
And that has to happen in order to build the new.
Yes, that's definitely the case. And this is the phase. At the moment, what we see on Earth is the shadow of all the countries and the collective and the individual coming to the surface. The people that have done 30 years shadow work and really done it, not talked about it, are calm. The rest has just to do a bit more work, and then peace is anyway there, yeah. But it just, every time something triggers us, it's just a call, oh, there is something that wants to come home in love. We don't even have to think about that we have big work to do. It's just, for example, when something comes up in me, for example, with this interview, let's make it simple. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous, da 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 da. And then a part comes that really feels, oh my God, I know myself, I will say too much, I shouldn't, and so on. And then there comes like fears that are connected to this from other lives, from this life, because I paid a high price sometimes, not shutting up at the right time, yeah? So what happens then is I just feel this, and the first impulse in the egoic mind is, oh, I don't want to feel this, I don't want to have that. It should be transformed. But the second impulse, because I've learned this teaching, is immediately, oh, there is someone that wants to come home, I need to love. And I just do to say, well, come home, and it's good, and no matter what you say, it will be all right, you know. And then it's peace instantly. And this we can do always. And you don't have to go to healer, to psychotherapists, to spiritual teacher, guru, to no one. These parts, these abandoned parts, they had a reason to be abandoned and frightened and suffering. You just need to love them. And it's easy. It takes a few minutes, it's done. And it becomes like a habit, you know. You never act upon anymore this first impulse when negative emotion comes, that you think, oh, I want to make it go away. I need to find someone who makes it go away. No way. You say, welcome. All my fears are welcome here. Come here. You just say, oh, there's a part in me that is still suffering, is still not home. And we need to gather all our children in order to go home. We only can go home when we embrace everything we are. All the shadow, all the things we feel ashamed of, the things we're frightened of, the things that suffer in us, the aspect, not things, the aspect in the little child in us, all this. There's not one person on this planet who's not traumatized, yeah?
That's so beautiful, Mirjam. So it's a lovely place to finish, I think. We'll have another chat again because there's so much to discuss. But I just wanted to let everyone know that you will be giving a talk, launching the book on Saturday, and that'll be around midday. And you'll be there to talk with people, to sign books, and
the whole exhibition on Sunday and Saturday, both days. When someone has no time to come to the book launch, it's, I think, 12:15. Doesn't matter. I am there the whole time. You can talk to me. I sign the book. And so, and you also can, when you have no time to come, you can go to our website, silentsmile.com, also www.silentsmile.com. And there you can order the book, and also internationally, it's everywhere on Amazon as a paperback and an ebook, available in all Amazon stores worldwide. Oh, I said it. This is so difficult.
And also, I believe you can also download some chapters, sample chapters to read, which I think is a beautiful gift because
we want to give to everyone that they don't have to buy the book, but they can read and find out, am I interested or not? So when you go on the website, silentsmile.com, you find on the bottom of the website, you can just put your email in, and then you get 5 free chapters and the introduction and the story of the book and the invocation of love as a gift for you.
It's so beautiful. I mean, it would make a beautiful Christmas gift, I think, for people to share this beautiful energy. So I think it's really good timing that you've released it, and it was exactly, you were saying 12 years to the day from when you first received the first transmission to the release of the book.
Yes,
Exactly 12 years.
On the day, I received the book on the 11th of the 11th, 2009. That is 11/11/11. And then 12 years later, a few days ago on Friday was the 11th of the 11th, 2021. We got all the books in the garage, and the website went live, and the people could order worldwide and in Australia the books. So you couldn't have made this up. I really didn't plan that. It was so weird, but I'm not surprised. Everything with this book is not in my hands and is miraculous, you know. Is really, this is not my book, simple as that. I did a lot of work for it, but I didn't write it.
Well, thank you for all the work that you have done in bringing this out, so everyone in the world can get access to this, because we really need it. We really need more and more people to come into their hearts and come into the truth and come home to the peace, so that we can create this new earth together. So I thank you, because I know it's been a labor of love and commitment, and it's not easy. In this physical world, you have to get things done, you know, that are sometimes challenging. So congratulations, and thank you so much, Mirjam, for joining us today. And I look forward to seeing you at the festival.
Yes, you will see me. And thank you for having me. This was my first interview with the book, and I was a wreck before, but now I am good. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.